Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today. Reese Buckingham has returned. When Grace surreptitiously meets her ex-husband, Finn discovers it. Grace puts Liam's life in jeopardy by accepting Bill's enormous payout. He might contribute to the issue. The bottom fact is that Grace needs money, and Bill has a ton of it. He also has a sick son that he is determined to heal, especially after Hope Logan and Steffi Forrester told him that Liam didn't want Bill to know about the cancer because his father is so self-centered. Now, I don't recall Liam ever saying anything along those lines. Either Brad Bell believes that viewers don't remember conversation and is rewriting history since Liam kept it a secret because he didn't want sympathy or people doing him favors on his way out, or Hope and Steffi are simply being cruel. All he wanted was to live his life as usual. Remember how Steffi blabbed because Liam wouldn't tell at first, and he didn't even want to tell Hope? Naturally, Ridge Forrester went insane. He was referring to him as Billy. You know, I've never heard Ridge say that before, and to be honest, Ridge has no space to discuss anything with anyone. Grace and Bill's covert strategy. Will Liam live through experimental therapy? Grace and Bill have a conversation this week. Bill is even more concerned now that Hope has revealed that Liam has cancer than he was when he first learned that Liam had been shot. In their private conversation, Bill asks Grace whether Liam has a chance of surviving this disease. Hope and Steffi gave him sobering news because they genuinely believe there is no chance. A number of physicians, including Finn, have reviewed the neuro team's repeat scans and testing. Everyone agreed that the situation is severe. And if you remember, even though the tumor was incurable, Grace did offer Liam various treatment choices, such as chemotherapy and radiation, 2 months ago so that he might spend more time with his girls. He discussed quality of life and whether he should undergo the procedures with Steffi and Finn. Then he did nothing at all. They simply let it fall. Grace began pressuring Finn to persuade Liam to start the treatment before it was too late after that resurfaced the other day. Again, I don't believe Grace is fabricating Liam's cancer, even if I am aware that there is clickbait out there. The scans have been viewed by too many physicians. That would be a lot of fakery, wouldn't it? In any case, this dubious new treatment is something else entirely. $1 million surgery. Is Grace's dangerous operation a scam or a cure? Grace responded, "What if I told you there is?" after Bill questioned if there was any chance to save Liam Spencer. Liam is covered in blue hospital material, looking uncertain, and his face is out, with the top of his head appearing like she's about to chop his noggin open. Then, this week, it looks like Bill is going to send Grace $1 million. Bill is anxiously awaiting the results of Grace's surgery on Liam, which is scheduled for this week. According to the leaker, who has so far been completely trustworthy when it comes to giving information, Liam will be receiving experimental treatment at a private clinic. This leaker also claimed that he would be in a coma, which is exactly what happened. Then they claimed that Liam will emerge from the coma, which he has done, and that Bill would take him from the hospital to a private clinic where Grace and another physician would perform brain experiments on him. Bill's control, dangerous procedures, and a secret clinic. Therefore, I'm curious if Bill has Liam moved and the surgery will take place at the new facility. According to the spoilers, Grace does the surgery, and Bill then takes him. Regardless of the order, it appears that Grace needs Liam out of the hospital so that additional experimental procedures can be performed on his cancer. It sounds perilous and risky, and Bill's wallet will suffer greatly as a result. But I'm sure Bill will find it worth every cent if Grace can cure Liam by doing something innovative with this other doctor. However, I question whether Grace genuinely believes that Liam will be saved by this procedure. Or she's stalling because she wants to get paid by dollar bill. Perhaps Liam will die anyhow, you know. Now, I have stated this previously. Scott Clifton isn't being killed off, in my opinion. Brad Bell loves to recycle narratives, so I assumed it would be an 11th-hour miracle cure or something similar to what they did to Eric Forrester. Oh, they won't fake Luna Nozawa's death because that's a repeat plot and they wouldn't do this with Liam, several users on soap opera social media commented. The plot is repeated. Plots are repeated by Brad Bell. Now simply keep remaking them, and now have about 5. Bold and the Beautiful does just that. Medical mysteries and ethical conundrums, what is actually going on with Liam? In any case, if they weren't ready to take chances, Grace might have been unable to perform the operation on Liam this week, cutting into his brain and all that, and perhaps this experimental procedure wouldn't have been permitted at that hospital in Los Angeles. However, Grace and this new doctor we're meeting can try riskier things at a private facility. Bill is probably willing to take chances and shell out a lot of money for any Hail Mary option if Liam is going to die anyhow. I do wonder if Liam agrees to all of this or if Bill somehow assumes complete authority and gives his assent. Grace might have Bill sign the transfer and operation paperwork. According to Grace, Liam's brain tumor has damaged his brain, rendering him incapable of making decisions on his own treatment. That kind of thing. Furthermore, B&B doesn't really give a damn about the law. They might not even provide an explanation. Bill may then assume command. Since Steffi and Hope can't see him, I assume Liam doesn't want to be brought elsewhere. Bill, however, urges him to stay away from them all. Perhaps he believes that everyone will stop berating him and back off if he can save Liam. Since Steffi shot Bill in the back and Steffi pleaded with him to cover, Bill graciously decided not to charge Taylor, so he doesn't need any bullshit from Steffi and her mother, Taylor Hayes. Unsolved questions regarding Bold and the Beautiful, Finn's suspicions and Luna's destiny. The issue is that we are aware of Grace's dire need for the funds. Therefore, she has more than just patient care in mind. This might be about getting rid of the person who constantly phoning and texting her. Additionally, Finn discusses something that is not regular procedure with Bridget Forrester in this week's promo. It seems strange to them. It might have to do with Grace doing dangerous surgery or taking Liam out of the hospital. Or it might have to do with Luna and how her body was disposed of, as I'm still not sure Lee Finnegan is telling the truth and that Luna is dead. I get the impression that Lee was experimenting to see if she might inform Finn that Luna had lived when she spoke to him about her this week. We shall see. We are aware of Grace's dubious past actions on Bold and the Beautiful. Brave and lovely, does Grace complete the task? She's gone completely wild again, much as when she was enraged over Carter Walton's relationship with Paris. She has returned for the plot of Liam's life and death. And once more, I don't believe that he will likely pass away. And perhaps what saves his life is Grace and this experimental regimen that Bill Spencer will begin to fund. According to script leaks, Liam has scenes in September, 2 whole months away. He may therefore be off canvas for several time receiving covert, dubious cancer treatments. The fact that Bill takes Liam from them will not make Hope and Steffi pleased. However, after obtaining Luna's pardon and her shooting Liam, Bill is determined to save Liam. Therefore, I anticipate that Bill will go to extremes, and it goes without saying that Steffi and Hope will be horrified when Bill takes them. In order for Bill to take charge and take Liam away without his consent and without the ladies knowing, it's possible that Grace puts him into a medically induced coma. We'll find out if Dollar Bill is Liam's next of kin. Bill's persuasion, Donna and Taylor bond, and Liam's surgery decision. Liam Spencer decides on the experimental course of treatment. Additionally, Taylor Hayes and Donna Logan Forrester form a bond. Liam Spencer's comeback. Grace Buckingham examines Liam while Bill Spencer sits in his hospital room. Liam jokes about his father. According to the patient, his father has been sitting on the chair for days. Bill won't go until he's completely well. Liam is told by Grace how fortunate he is and how much life still has to offer. Neither of them needs to say the words for Liam to understand. Bill is the luckiest person alive. He becomes emotional when discussing it with Liam. Luna Nozawa is gone and it's over now, the patient says. Grace's eyes closely observe as Bill is incredibly proud of his kid. Bill is curious as to why Liam concealed the tumor. He simply didn't want his final minutes with Bill to be spent in sadness, it wasn't a punishment. After being shot, Liam realized he wasn't as prepared as he had believed. Now he wants to fight. Grace breaks off to have a private conversation with Bill. The influence of Bill Spencer. Bill and Grace discuss Liam's prospects. Liam can be saved by Grace. Grace brings up the subject of treatment, but Bill is unaware of it. According to Grace, it's not that easy. Bill claims that things may be made simple with his amount of money. They must now persuade Liam that Bill will write a blank check for whatever she needs. She had not yet informed him of the dangers. Grace implores Bill to persuade Liam that he must have the experimental operation immediately. Bill discusses the process with Liam. Grace adds that she is certain that this is the solution. For the sake of his children, Liam consents. He can get the procedure the next day once Grace has him sign some paperwork. It will take place somewhere else, not at that specific hospital. How cunning of you, Grace. The documents are signed by Liam. The Trip to Italy by Brooke Logan. Brooke Logan and Eric Forrester at Forrester Creations. Luna is no longer a threat, according to Ridge Forrester. Liam's brain cancer is discussed by the three of them. Brooke pledges to support Liam and his kids. Eric has a lot of meetings outside of town. He asks Brooke whether he wants to go. Only the three of them will be present. In Italy, Brooke is excited to create new memories. At the house, Taylor and Donna converse. They are discussing Naples. If Brooke is going, Taylor asks. Well, Taylor, why don't you ask Brooke yourself? Proceeding. According to Donna, Brooke is the show star. Taylor inquires as to whether Donna will still support her sister's attendance. Yes, Donna responds. Brooke is well liked, particularly in Italy. Taylor continues to drag it out. They live together, so Donna asks her to stop. Taylor says she has heard that Nick Marone is back in town and she trusts Ridge. Brooke is contacted by Nick, who informs him of the shooting. Brooke informs him that she, Ridge, and Eric are traveling to Italy. Nick sighs and wonders what she's doing. Nick will not allow her to accept leftovers from Forrester. Nick asks Brooke to accompany him on his flight to Naples for business. Brooke will have a lot on her plate. Nick will make time for her even though he understands. I really want to spend time with her, Nick says. Brooke gives her hand a little kiss and smiles. Ridge and Eric are discussing Nick. Ridge's feelings for Brooke are brought up by Eric. He disputes it, and Taylor interrupts their argument by storming in. Liam Spencer hangs in the balance, not merely due to the inoperable brain tumor slowly claiming him, but because of a clandestine, ethically fraught pact forged in desperation and avarice between neurosurgeon Dr. Grace Buckingham and his billionaire father, Bill Spencer. Driven by a toxic cocktail of paternal guilt, artificially inflamed by Hope Logan and Steffi Forrester's harsh, arguably revisionist accusations that Liam withheld his diagnosis because Bill was so selfish, a narrative potentially contradicting Liam's original motivation of avoiding pity and living normally, and an obsessive need to rectify perceived failures, especially after inadvertently enabling Luna's pardon which led to Liam's shooting. Bill is a man unmoored by reason, fixated solely on a solution his vast wealth can buy. Enter Grace Buckingham, a character whose own stability has previously frayed, now presented with a seemingly insurmountable personal financial crisis and relentlessly pursued by unknown creditors. When Bill, reeling from Hope and Steffi's dire prognosis, bolstered by multiple corroborating opinions, including Finn's, confirming the tumor's terminal nature despite Grace's earlier, ultimately ignored suggestions of palliative chemo/radiation for more time, corners Grace demanding any sliver of hope. She doesn't offer mere comfort, she proffers a dangerous, experimental lifeline shrouded in secrecy and exorbitant cost. This "what if I told you there is" moment ignites a perilous sequence, $1 million wire transfer from Bill to Grace, the surreptitious extraction of a vulnerable, likely non-consenting Liam, possibly under a medically induced coma for transport, from the safety and oversight of the LA hospital under dubious claims of incompetence due to his condition, and his covert transfer to a private clinic where Grace, potentially aided by an unvetted colleague, intends to perform highly speculative, high-risk neurosurgery explicitly deemed too dangerous or unethical for conventional medical settings. While Bill views this clandestine clinic and its unproven procedures as a justified Hail Mary, fueled by his belief that saving Liam will absolve him and silence his detractors, ironically including Steffi, whose mother Taylor he protected after she shot him, Grace's motivations are dangerously ambiguous, Is she a maverick genuinely believing in this experimental gamble, or is she exploiting Bill's desperation and Liam's doomed state for a massive payday, buying time and funding while knowing the outcome is likely unchanged? This ethical abyss deepens with Finn and Bridget Forrester's growing suspicions about non-standard protocol, potentially encompassing Liam's disappearance, the risky surgery itself, or even tangentially connecting to the unresolved mystery surrounding Luna Nozawa's alleged death, where Lee Finnegan's cryptic behavior suggests possible deception, adding another layer of potential malfeasance involving Grace or those in her orbit. The core peril to Liam is multifaceted, the inherent, potentially lethal risks of the untested procedure on his already compromised brain, the removal from established medical care and oversight, the violation of his autonomy and likely wishes to avoid extreme measures or be separated from Hope, Steffi, and his daughters, and the very real possibility that Grace, pressured by financial ruin and shadowy threats, is prioritizing Bill's money over Liam's well-being, turning a terminal diagnosis into a potentially hastened, agonizing end orchestrated by those claiming to save him. This storyline embodies the bold and the beautiful's penchant for high-stakes medical melodrama and recycled plots, echoing Eric's miracle, yet the specific confluence of Bill's guilt-ridden tyranny, Grace's precarious ethics, Liam's utter vulnerability, and the shroud of secrecy creates a uniquely tense scenario where the cure Bill seeks might very well be the instrument of his son's final, tragic undoing, transforming paternal love into a catastrophic endangerment played out on an operating table funded by blood money and desperation.
Bill Spencer, a titan accustomed to commanding boardrooms and destinies, was reduced to a fixture in the visitor's chair, its upholstery permanently molded to his anxious form. Days had bled into nights with him anchored there, a silent, granite sentinel against the specter of loss looming over his son. As Grace Buckingham, her practiced movements betraying a flicker of profound relief, completed her examination, Liam mustered a weak joke aimed at his father's unwavering vigil. "Seriously, Dad," he rasped, a ghost of his former wryness touching his voice, "I think that chair's claiming squatters' rights. You haven't left it in days." Bill's response was immediate, his voice thick with an emotion rarely displayed so openly, raw, unadulterated fear transmuted into fierce protectiveness. "And I won't," he declared, the words a vow etched in stone, "not until you're out of these damn flimsy gowns and back giving me gray hairs the old-fashioned way." Grace, her eyes soft yet intensely observant, gently intervened, her voice a balm. "Liam, focus on that feeling. You are lucky. You have so much life left to live for." The unspoken truth, that this luck was a fragile, stolen thing, hung heavy. Liam's gaze met his father's, and in that shared look, lifetimes of complicated history dissolved into pure, unguarded understanding. Words were redundant. The sheer, staggering magnitude of Liam's survival, the bullet miraculously diverted from ending everything, washed over Bill, his eyes glistening with unshed tears as he simply murmured, "No one feels luckier than I am right now, son. No one." Liam, acknowledging the emotional tide, steered the conversation towards closure. "Luna's gone. It's over now," he stated, a quiet finality in his tone. Bill's chest swelled with paternal pride, a fierce light in his eyes as he absorbed his son's resilience, while Grace's watchful gaze remained fixed, clinically assessing the psychological landscape. The inevitable question surfaced, laced with paternal hurt. "Why, Liam? Why keep the tumor a secret? Was it punishment?" Liam shook his head, exhaustion mingling with sincerity. "No, Dad. Never that. I couldn't bear the thought of our last days, weeks, whatever they were, being steeped in mourning. I wanted normalcy. Or what passed for it." He paused, drawing a shaky breath. "I thought I was ready to accept whatever came. But lying there after the shot, feeling life slipping, I realized I'm not ready. I want to fight. For me. For my kids." It was a declaration of war against the invisible enemy within him. Grace, seizing the moment, smoothly interjected, "Bill, a word? Privately?" Her tone brooked no argument. Outside the room, the hospital corridor's impersonal brightness contrasted sharply with the life-and-death intimacy within. Grace faced Bill, the weight of her next words evident. His chances, she began carefully, are better now than they were on the operating table, but the tumor, it remains aggressive. Bill's response was pure Spencer, a blunt, financially armored solution. Chances? Grace, with the resources I command, chances become certainties. Name it. Blank check. Whatever facility, whatever specialist, whatever moon dust you need flown in overnight. Make it happen. Now. His urgency was a physical force. Grace held up a hand, her expression grave. It's not that simple, Bill. There is something. An experimental procedure. Cutting edge, highly targeted. But it's not FDA approved, not widely available. The risks. Bill cut her off, his eyes blazing. Risks are relative to dying, Grace. What risks? Tell me. She met his gaze squarely. Significant. Potential neurological damage, unforeseen complications, even failure. It's a gamble. But it could eradicate the tumor cells conventional methods might miss. Bill absorbed this, the ruthless businessman instantly calculating odds, the father overriding all caution. We do it, he stated, not asked. Where do I sign? How fast? Grace gripped his arm, her voice dropping to a desperate whisper. Bill, he has to agree. And he needs to agree now. Timing is critical. The window for optimal intervention is narrow. You must convince him. Make him see this isn't just hope, it's his best shot. The burden shifted back to the father, charged with selling a dangerous lifeline to a son just rediscovering his will to live. Bill re-entered the room, the air crackling with unspoken tension. He approached Liam's bedside, his usual swagger replaced by a profound gravity. Son, he began, his voice rough with emotion, Grace told me about an option. Something new, something aggressive. Like you said you want to fight? This is the front line. Liam's eyes, still shadowed by pain and fatigue, narrowed with wary interest. Grace stepped forward, her professional demeanor firmly in place, yet her eyes held a spark of genuine conviction. Liam, it's highly experimental, I won't sugarcoat that. But the science is sound, the targeting unprecedented. This could be the key. I believe in its potential for you. Liam looked from his father's desperate hope to Grace's earnest confidence. His mind raced, the fear of the unknown procedure warring with the terrifying certainty of the tumor's progression.